Ladies and gentlemen, I've been meaning to get around to the Bud Light story. I saw it out there probably about 2 months ago. But there's an update on the story that came out today. So I said, this is my chance to do it. So Bud Light is no longer America's number one top selling beer after Boycott. And if you haven't heard what happened to them, they hired transgender influencer to promote Bud Light, and it did not go over well with the public. The public did not like it. And ever since they made that decision, their sales have just completely dropped to the point where they're not the top selling beer in America. It's now a Mexican beer that is number one in America. So I don't know who's working in their advertisement or, in advertising over there at Bud Light. Maybe you should have tested the waters before you went full throttle on putting a transgender influencer out there because it has not been the same since for Bud Light. There are so many people in the country that's boycotting this beer and they won't touch it anymore. So they're saying Modelo Uh, Especial, a Mexican beer, is now number 1 in the US. The shift follows a conservative-led boycott against Bud Light that started after Dylan Mulvaney, a transgender influencer, posted a video on Instagram on April 1st promoting a Bud Light contest. Bud Light's shares of retail sales has dropped about 3 percentage points since the boycott began. The sales begin to dip after commentators and celebrities on the right began to protest. Anheuser-Busch, the maker of Bud Light, later announced the departure of 2 marketing executives, but the company's attempt to backtrack drew further criticism from liberals and members of the LGBTQ community. Oh boy, this is not going to turn out good no matter what they do at this point. It's just not. And, over the last few weeks, I've told you about Target facing backlash, and we spoke about Nike and Adidas and their marketing moves, and it really has taken toll on them too. So, ladies and gentlemen, Anheuser-Busch did not respond to a request for a questioning, on how they felt about Bud Light no longer being the top selling beer in America. So they're just kind of avoiding the press at this point. Bud Light's misstep felt like a betrayal to both its liberal and conservative customers, and that trust is going to take months. I don't know. At this point, do you really think they can come back that strong? I don't. I don't think it's gonna ever be the same for them. I don't think it's gonna be the same. So they're saying that, it may take months or even years to rebuild, and I'm not even sure about that. So the sales of Bud Light hovered around 10% of US retail beer sales, and this was until 4 weeks ago. That ended on April 22nd when it dropped to 8.7%, and the trend downward is still going on. Mm, mm, mm. Modelo, Coors Light, and Miller Lite saw bumps in their shares in retail sales in that same time period. So, research has shown that the effects of boycotts are often short lived. Bud Light has dominated the market for at least the past 2 decades. But in recent years, it has faced tough competition, said Dave Williams, a vice president of analytics and insight at, Bump Williams. I can't recall any other brand surpassing Bud Light in the recent years. Well, guess what? They are now, and they said even Michelob Ultra is, going up in their sales. Mm-mm-mm. Bud Light still has a strong hold over the American beer market based on the year to date data. Yeah, that's year to date, but we're not at the end of the year. And I'm sure by then it is going to be a significant difference from the previous year. So, y'all tell me what you think. I mean, the backlash behind the way they advertise this with a transgender is real. I mean, I saw the celebrities coming out and having a fit, and they were like, "I am not drinking it anymore. I'm not gonna buy it anymore. That's it." And it just seems like after that, it's been downhill for Bud Light. And I mean, who knows? They seem to think they can come back from this, and I'm not so sure, y'all. You know, it's one thing if you had the only product out here or it was so few, but there are so many beers out on the market right now. Technically, people don't ever have to go back to Bud Light. I mean, if you really think about it, nobody has to ever drink it again. And I was looking at some videos a few weeks ago where inside the liquor store, you could see the Bud Light is virtually untouched. And then you can see, like, in other refrigerated units where you could see some of the sodas were not sodas, I'm sorry, beer were taken out. You know, you can see where it's selling and the Bud Light was in in this refrigerated area. And I saw it in more liquor stores. It wasn't just one, and it was hardly touched, just sitting there. So we shall see what happens. I'll try to keep track. You know, like I said, I would love to see what their end of year sales are going to look like for 2023. It'd be interesting. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.